In chess, there are so many gambits. In this video, I will look at the Sicilian Gambit. In these openings, you will see white give up a pawn, and with black, I will show you how to play against it. So first up, the Sicilian is e4, c5. First up, we are going to look at the Smith-Morra Gambit. So firstly, d4, and after take, they go c3. So already by move 3, they are giving up a pawn. I suggest you take it. Later on, I'm going to show you how you can play against it if you don't take it. But it's not the best way to play. Take, and now knight c6. So why does white play like this? Because they want fast development. Knight f3, e6, and now bishop c4 is possible, bishop e2. But firstly, we are going to look at bishop f4 coming in on a dark square. I want you to pin the knight to the king, because maybe we give up the bishop for the knight to stop any funny business with the knight coming into d5, sacrificing itself. Bishop d3, d6. So we set up this structure, e6 and d6. If rook c1 or even castle, we're going to take it. Take and then e5. We are going to blunt this bishop. If you go here, or here. Bishop moves back, bishop e6. And then we're going to follow up with knight e7 and castle, and we're good. d5 as a pawn break. After bishop f4, bishop b4. If they come in with bishop d6, nothing to worry about. Take, and now knight f6. If they try knight b5, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Queen a5, check. If you move the king, or you block with the knight, knight e4, check, doesn't work. King d8. Every single thing is hanging. Going back a few moves here, there was another try. You might have been asking why not e5 to attack the knight. Knight g4. And now what, h3? You attack the knight, looks like it has to go back here, right? Wrong. Queen b6, what a move. Double attack. You attack b2 and f2, so take. We are going to get our material back. Check, and we're good. We are good. e6. Let's say they go bishop c4, which is probably the most likely move you will face. They're going to put their bishop on this diagonal. a6, this is what I'm going to suggest, because then you can go b5, bishop b7, attack it. Get space on the queen side. Let's see what happens. Castle, b5, bishop back, and now bishop b7. So we are going to go knight e7, knight g6, get our pieces out. If they go queen e2, or knight e7, queen e2 I mean, now we go knight e7. Bishop out. Let's attack the bishop. We can play f6. That's fine, because we move the bishop away, kick that bishop out, and then knight g6 next. And then we just play from here. Going back a few moves, we can go knight e7 as well. Bishop f4, knight g6. Bishop g3, bishop e7, and we are ready to castle. Bishop out, knight out. Always can throw in knight a5 to attack this bishop. Just want to show you this very aggressive option. Bishop b7, because you may have even seen this in some critical lines in the open Sicilian. What if white just goes nuts? What if they go knight d5? It doesn't matter. We can just ignore it with this cool move, bishop d6. You don't want to give them too much play. This is so difficult to deal with practically. I mean, look at this. Look at this check already. There's some problems. So really, we are saying, I mean, so what? It's just a looker. It doesn't actually do anything. Bishop d6. Then we're going to follow up with knight e7 and castle. So if they go bishop g5, putting even more pressure, that's what white has to do. White is down a pawn. f6. Kick the bishop away, and we can even take the knight because there's nothing here. The cool thing is this bishop is now outside the chain. So it defends the knight. We can get the knight out, castle. We are good. So that's actually what happens if white is being too aggressive. It just doesn't work out. Knight e7, bishop f4, knight g6, bishop moves, and bishop e7, or bishop b7, and we can castle. Just want to show you a typical formation pawn on d6, you might even put a knight on e5. Because then you've got so much control on that square. Bishop can come out to b7, rook can come to c8. We are good, we are up a pawn against the Smith-Morra Gambit. Next thing I want to talk about is the psychology of this gambit. Maybe you do not feel confident. Maybe you forgot the theory. You forgot what to do. So after c3, you might be thinking, but if I take it, I give exactly what white wants. They're playing in the style of a gambit. They give up a pawn. Maybe you want to go d3. Just throw the pawn in and you give it back. And really you're saying they can't get their knight out easily. The problem with this move is now white can go c4, and they've got this Maroczy bind. This is a bind where they control the d5 square with 2 pawns. So let's see what happens. They get their pawn back, pieces out, and we get this kind of position, which I don't recommend because white's got a lot of space and it's all about controlling a key central square, and white has got that with 2 pawns. But you can still go for this if you're not feeling confident. In this position, you don't want to take. You don't want to give exactly what white wants. Now let's talk about psychology again. In this position, instead of throwing the pawn to d3, you can go knight f6. Now we transpose into a c3 Sicilian. e5, knight d5, they take back, and e6. So we get this type of structure. You have a good knight on d5, and then you play like this, bishop out, castle. I'm saying this is a c3 Sicilian because if we go back here, we could actually have got it from this move order. c3, knight f6, e5, knight d5, d4, take, take, e6. And we've got it by transposition. We've got the same position. So go for this if you're not feeling confident. But I hope that you can see from the previous lines, if you play the setup I showed, black gets a good position. The next gambit I want to talk about is the wing gambit. So what is that? It is if white goes b4 on move 2. So what's the point of this move? Well, white can get the center straight away. White can also play a3 first, and then if you take, you are giving white exactly what they want. Brilliant bishop here. If you play a move like e6, take, take, well, they get the center. You can't castle. This is exactly what white wants, so don't give your opponent this chance. So if we go back here, don't take the pawn on a3, strike in the center with d5. So firstly, this is the wing gambit trap. If they take, which is really bad, now we take with the queen. And if they get their pawn back, queen e5 check, and you've won the rook in the corner. b4, take. Let's say they don't chuck their rook. We're going to strike in the center. And now, if they take, no, if they push, I mean, now you attack the pawn. If they go d4, you attack the pawn again, knight and queen. And if they go knight f3, bishop g4, there's just way too much pressure on the pawn. Bishop e3, and now e6. This is a dream position for black. There's so much pressure. Let me explain every arrow. Knight, queen, attack this. There's this pin. You can even get this knight to f5 to put pressure here, and guess what? You are up a pawn anyway. This bishop defends your extra pawn. It's a dream position for black. The next gambit I want to talk about is this, a3. Now this is a gambit only if black plays a normal looking move, which is knight c6. Because it looks like this move stops b4, right? Wrong. This is exactly what these gambit players want to go for. Take, 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 d4. Oops. And you've given exactly what a gambit player wants. White has the center. This knight can actually be attacked with c3. This bishop can also attack it as well. So don't do this. So even though after knight c6 is a gambit, the move I'm going to suggest is g6. So then it is no longer a gambit anymore. If they go b4, you get the diagonal first with bishop g7. If they go knight c3, no need to take the knight, let's go d6. Let's say they go rook b1 just to defend it. Now we go knight f6 and you're good. Castle next. Just get your pieces out normally. Even knight c6, knight d4 is possible. Even bishop g4 is possible as well. That's why after a3, g6, they don't normally go b4 because you get the diagonal first. They might just play a move like bishop c4 and then bishop g7 and then the game goes on. They try to 4-move checkmate you. No, e6. Knight c6, knight e5, knight d4. You're going to attack the queen with tempo. Knight out, castle, and you're good. And you strike in the center as well with d5. Please give this video a like because it really does help out the channel. If you play a game against the Sicilian Gambit or you use the Sicilian Gambit yourself, post your games in the comments below. I'm building a community, so if you guys want your games analysed, post it below. I read all the comments. I'll see what I can do, and then it could go into a future video. Press the bell to get notified when I release a new video. If you guys want to stick around, here is YouTube selection. I've got a couple of videos over here, how to play against the Sicilian by Magnus Carlsen. However, you may prefer an openings video, how to play the Sicilian. Thanks for watching.